Hello everyone and welcome to DBF1 season number 5. We headed to rounds 9 and 10. Two different parts of the world, so the drivers have got to do a lot of travelling. Let's hope they don't get a bit of jet lag, eh? So we head to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia first, and then we go to Canada, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. My name is Jess Ball and I'll be your commentator for this evening. Might be taking a few more breaks than usual because I have an annoying ulcer near my jaw and it hurts. So bear with me this evening, guys, but we will power through this. So last week we were at Imola and Monaco. Imola saw a very changeable condition race. Qualifying ended abruptly because the rain came quicker, but the race started off dry and then wet. Due to him receiving no penalties from the in-game stewards, it was Darky that won the race. Waze finished a close second. He won on track, but he got penalties. And Deck third. So those three drivers that you would expect to be up there near the front was at the front. And Monaco was quite entertaining, but there was a little bit more gaps. We had Deck, who came out with a very good win because of Waze getting a penalty, and Deck's performance, I have to say, was absolutely superb in Monaco last week, so well deserved from him. And then we had Ryan Barry, who got his first podium of the season, which, to be honest, I was very happy with, and he'll be very delighted with that. He's looking to probably score a bit higher, but maybe it will happen tonight. So we'll see what that does with the standings then. So Waze still currently leads the championship on 139 points. Dan closely behind on 114. Deck in third on 109. And Darky in fourth on 101. Then we got Tony quite close on 98 because he had a win early on the season. Then we got Chris Johnson and all the other drivers there as well. So looking quite close everywhere, especially the midfield. So a little bit about the track before we head to qualifying. Don't forget, the first race is a 35% race with 80-minute qualifying and with a safety car set to increase this time. And then Canada is one-shot qualifying, 25% race. So I'm intrigued to see what all the drivers have to offer around this track then. So let's have a look at the track. It is 4.657 kilometers long. It is 2.892 miles. Call 14 turns, 6 to the left, 8 to the right. And we have 2 DRS zones, 2 detection points for our drivers to negotiate. And since they got rid of the chicane in towards turn 13 and 14 into New Holland, it definitely looks a lot better. Of course, this was where we saw testing at the beginning of the season. So we had a little bit of an idea as how they did with testing at the beginning of the season, because I was able to get a few predictions due to what happened in testing. I predicted from the testing times that I was going to think Darky was going to win the championship, but obviously a lot of fast drivers didn't show up and it was quite interesting. I thought I saved the testing results, but I haven't, so I need to go and save it again. That is a not good start to the stream when I have not saved the testing results. Come on, refresh. And I'm going to have to do all the transform on OBS and all that kind of stuff. There we go. So those were your testing results from the beginning of the season where we were in Spain, and that was during short qualifying. Some people, of course, was a bit of sandbagging, but there were some people that were just trying to find their feet. And one driver, I have to say, that has improved quite a bit since testing to now, that I'm going to keep an eye on today, is James. He, of course, has never done league racing before up until this point, and he's adapted so well, and I'm excited to see what he does here tonight. I think we're going to see quite a few improvements from him, and quite a few other drivers too. So watch out for certain drivers that can really throw the cat amongst the pigeons. So without further ado, I won't keep you waiting for very long. We are about to get started for qualifying. So let's go. Don't forget, top 5 get points in qualifying. And I'm just trying to see if our championship leader is out there on track. Nope, he is not. We'll see who's on the track first. Let's go on board with Scottish Goat, who's also, for my standards, he has done really well this season, actually. Heading towards turn 4, running a little bit wide there to get the best possible exit. Then in towards turn 5 and 6, clip that inside curve. Third gear on entry. And don't go too much to the curve, because otherwise you're going to lose a bit of time. He's on the mediums, so he's getting a feel for it. In towards turn 7. Now, turn 7 for me is one of the most trickiest corners, because you really got to flip the car and make sure you don't heat up your tyres a little bit as well. And it's a very high traction zone. Heading towards turn 10 now. Much better compared to the last few games. And you really got to take brilliant lines through there. Heading towards turn 12 and 13. Take a wider line through there and aim for the apexes on both entries. Now heading towards New Holland, you can take it flat out, which is what he's going to try and do. So he goes up to the line, goes Scottish Goat, and it's going to be a 1:14.423. So we've got the Haas driver up next, Jordan, who's making his full-time appearance in the league now, which is really, really great to see. And he should be racing with us next season as well, fingers crossed. Well, hopefully I think he does. But anyway, Chris Johnson goes up to the line in P1. Quite a few people set times on the mediums because they don't want to use too much of their softs right away, because they want to save some for the race. We've got Kai just about to finish on his lap, scoring points consistently in quite a lot of races, which is very, very great to see. So Kai goes up to the line at 1:18.6, but again, still more time to be found. We've got Gamer James, who was on a lap P4. Now, considering his time was in the 1:17 during testing, that was about a 3-second improvement already. And I have to say that is really, really good. I did say to keep an eye on him, and he's definitely one to keep an eye on. We've got a Ferrari about to cross the final corner, but he is on a outlap. We've got one of the Mercedes. Stereo ground's gone a bit off a little bit. Great to see him back this week. Bazza, of course, goes up to the line. What can he do, of course? He's set a good time in testing around it. 1:15.035. And where is the birthday boy? There he is, as he's about to go into the pits right now. I went on board with him at the wrong time. But get everyone in the chat, give Ryan Berry a big happy birthday. Hope you have a lovely day. And so far, I enjoy racing in Dive Bomb F1. I mean, what a better place to race at Dive Bomb. I probably wouldn't be racing on my birthday, but there we go. Massive shout out to Lewis Craig, by the way, who's watching the stream from Greece in Rhodes. Lucky fella. Lucky fella. I mean, really, really good. I hope the weather's nice out there. Weather's quite nice over here, actually, where we are in England. So we've got Ferrari up next. It's not Dan, so it is Jake going up to the line. He has had a few controller changes since we last saw him, and he is hoping that those improvements would help him become quicker. Looking a good, decent lap already. He goes up to the line, and it's a 1:13.9, so he is currently fastest on the road. Next, we have one of the Alpines. Is Mick. No, it's not. It's Bazza with a 1:13.7, so on 2 lap old source, which strongly suggests that I think it's going to be a much quicker lap time from him. I'm very impressed with Bazza's lap time, actually. Bettina, no, then I'm trying to get confused on who's on laps. Darky's on an out lap, so it is Kai that just came across the line in P8. It's hard to tell who's on laps and who's not, because it is very confusing. Then it is Jack Craig, who's on his flyer. We got a lot of people that are out of sync on laps, which is why it's confusing. Tony goes up to the line on P5. 30 degrees. Oh my God, Lewis. Hopefully you have aircon, please. Because 30 degrees without aircon is awful. So please, if you have aircon, lucky you. But luckily we're not in a decent heat wave anyway. So more lap times posted. Coutinho goes second fastest, which is why he has jumped right up. And let's see what Darky can do, because he hasn't set a lap time yet. A 21.3 middle sector. No, 21.3 first sector. Purple middle sector. Course 1 in Imola. Quite a similar track in terms of downforce, so he's looking to do well here too. A lot more consistent in terms of finishes this season and score a lot more points compared to last season. So we're hoping that continues. Maybe F125 is a better game for him. Darky goes up to the line with a 112.3, and oh my God, he is an absolute sweat on this game. I don't think any of us in this lobby, even me, could have reached that lap time. So, yeah, that is impressive from the Red Bull driver. What could Jack Craig do? I think he balled on his lap, so he stays in 15th, and we're just waiting for Stereogram now, and then most people will be would have done most of their runs. Checkways missed out on the win because he got a 10-second penalty. I think it was by the tunnel section it was, and he was very gutted about himself. He tried to get it removed, but unfortunately for him, it did not get removed, so he had to result to second place. But to be honest, if I was him, I would be happy about that. So, New Holland then. Does he take it flat out? Nope, he dived into the pits. So I don't think he would have been happy with that lap anyway. And, oh, Stereogram. 5-place grid penalty due to a collision with Jack. Those two have gone off. Now, I wonder if that will be investigated by the stewards after the race. I will not be surprised if that happens. Of course, you're not allowed to block people during their qualifying laps. So with Stereogram, I think that was not good for him at the moment. Just to point out, actually, that Kai said in the driver's chat that he's only going to make Spain today. He can't do Canada. But everyone else should be doing the rest of the races tonight. We got a good turnout tonight, actually. I'm quite happy. And make sure you do share out the stream with your friends, because we stream every Wednesday at 7:10 p.m. We do have an announcement about Season 6 coming out at the end of the races. So after the end of the races, we got an announcement including about teams. So stay tuned for more information. Some people may know about this already, but quite a lot of you don't. So we will go through the process on teams for Season 6 afterwards, in terms of like how the system's going to work and all that jazz, because the contracts will be open, so team bosses could be approaching you if they haven't already. So team bosses will be watching the streams and keeping an eye on all the drivers and seeing who's a good fit for their teams, including me. I've been watching the last few weeks on who I think is going to do well for the teams that I've got. So yes, I do have a rough idea, but I'm keeping my lips sealed. No things have been agreed yet, but they will be agreed soon. Probably in a few days' time, but we'll have to wait and see. So, a few more people on outlaps. I think Gamer James had a little bit of an off there, unless the game said it was on 0 laps, but it was not. The game likes to confuse sometimes. It's very, very weird. So, Scottish Goat ran a little bit wide there. I think he lost a bit of traction coming towards the final corner. So, I think he's going to improve ever so slightly, but not that much. So, up to the final corner, take the shortest run to the line. What's it going to be for Scottish Goat? 1:14.4. P12. Impressive for Scottish Goat. Next, I believe, is one of the Ferraris, but he's on an outlap. So we'll go on board one of the Mercedes, Bazza, who's also on an outlap. Then it's the Williams. Quite a few people on outlap, so we won't go on board with them too much. Deck just finished a lap now. He was slots himself into P2. I was the one who predicted that Deck is going to do quite well this season. I have high hopes on Deck, and he is quite... To be honest, Darky's lap times are absolutely incredible, but with Deck, I have to say, is more consistent in terms of race pace. But we're going to see what he does with this lap. He's going to dive into the pits. And one thing you'll notice with the McLarens is they got the chrome livery on F125, and they have an option, the McLaren teammates, to decide on which ones they go for. So Chris has gone for this one, and I can't tell which one Jack has gone for because he's gone into the pit lane. Let's see. Go on. Tell me. No, he's gone for the ordinary livery. Boo. Boo, Jack. You're boring. You're boring. Right, we've got more people on lap times. Bazza on mediums, I believe. Yes, he is. But I think it will be the Haas driver up first. Waiters retired from the session. Now, let's go on board with one of the Haas's to see what happened. He's binned it towards the exit of turn 9. That's not good. That is not good at all for Wade. A driver that we thought was going to do well in qualifying has bottled it under pressure. So that is it then for Wade for qualifying. And let's know in chat, by the way, your predictions for pole position here this evening. It'll be interesting to note. We do have 5 minutes left on the clock. Darky, I believe, is still on a lap. We'll go through the Constructors' Championship a little bit later on as well. Yes, he is. So most people will dive it into the pit lane. So, I can't believe, obviously, the season so far in Dive Bomb F1 has gone so quickly, which means that drivers can't afford to make many mistakes. They have to be consistent because some of the drivers are a little bit further off than they should be in terms of championship order. Some of which could be attributed to bad luck, but for some drivers, maybe their pace is not up to par and they want to see what they can do. Jordan, heat free for Godzilla Jordan. I have to say that is a really impressive lap time. So we're going to see if he could try and beat that. He will have time to go into the pits as well. Jake, I believe, is going into the pits. Yes, he is. Anyone else on laps? I doubt it. No, Jake's going to keep going. He's not going to have time to set a lap, so I don't know why he's kept going. I think he's forgotten to go into the pit lane. I've had that quite a few times in Spain, to be fair. Ryan has gone about almost 2 seconds up, so he will be the 113th. So the birthday boy, can the birthday boy be rewarded with a pole position? Answer that on the postcard, but that's no at the moment in a P11. So P11 for the Aston Martin driver. We have one of the Mercedes that have gone out of the pit lane. That, I believe, was Bazza. Yeah, that was Bazza that has just come out of the pit lane. My keyboard controls are having a little bit of an iffy at the moment. So, yeah. So, I'm going to go with my predictions for pole position for Spain. And I think it's going to be an easy slam dunk, Darky. I don't think anybody can come close to Darky's lap time with a 1:12.3. I don't think I can. And that's saying something. I mean, that honestly is impressive. That's about a full second quicker. Maybe he put the sandbags out in testing, or maybe just getting used more to the game. I mean, I'm going to have to go with Darky for pole position. There you go. Lewis, I think, will probably go for the same. Lewis probably would have gone Waze, but Waze binned it. Let me just see what he put in the driver's chat, because he probably would have said something, but he said it's a not track for Waze. He just realised he tried to push but touched the gravel on exit. That's annoying for Waze. That is absolutely frustrating for him. I think he's obviously got a lot of work to do. Dan Wilnut, the closest challenger to the title for Darky and Waze. He is going to go on a lap now, heading towards the final corner. He likes his track, so we'll see what he can do. And quite a few drivers in the chat were actually saying that the track is quite difficult for tyre warm-up, and I have to say I agree. Jake is not going to have time to do another lap, so he has retired. And if he could tell me what happened, I think he did forget to go in the pit lane. And if I was right, give me brownie points or whatever. You know what I mean. Some people think I'm good at predicting, but I'm not. Like, I think when I was covering a championship, I predicted the winner, like, one race in before the race even happened. And I was like a gold mine. It was insane. But that was like a different championship on a Sedo Corsa. But that's not going to happen here, because usually the ones who I predict for the championship. Usually just go and bottle it. So, Dan Wilner around 3 tenths up on his previous best. We've got a few more people on laps. I think we've got one of the Alpines on the lap as well, Scottish Goat. But let's watch Dan. He's got to find a second to beat Darky's time. Can he do enough? No, but P4, he improves on his lap time. Next across the line will be Jordan. He's about to start his lap. Bazza, I believe, will be next, but he's invalidated his run. So it'll be his teammate next, Stereogram, who's starting his out. What could Darky do? Darky heading towards the middle sector. He is down. He is down on the middle sector. His teammate goes into the pit lane, but he's down on the middle sector, so I don't think he's going to improve on his time. I think that was only a little that he could do. The checkered flag has dropped then, ladies and gentlemen, so we'll see if anyone else can improve on their final time. Darky up to the line, and he's found 2,000 of a second of improvement, but it is improvement for the Red Bull driver. Deck goes up to the line. Can he improve? Nope, he does not. Then we got the the McLaren of Jack Craig, who slots himself into P7. Chris Johnson, his teammate. Can he have an answer to that? No, he does not improve either. Not many people have improved. Dan goes into the pits. What could Jordan do? He's got to find a second, which has got to be quite difficult, but he'll try. 1:13.0 for Jordan. Puts himself into P3. Now, that is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting for Jordan. And Stereogram goes into the pit lane. I think nobody's going to finish his lap. So, about a 10 separating between Jordan, and then we got a few 10 separating them and with Dan. I'm excited for the race. This is going to be interesting. So, qualifying then has just ended. Luckily, it was a dry qualifying, so we were able to cover the dry qualifying session. Hopefully, it doesn't rain, because honestly, that will be a disaster. Because Spain is always a nightmare in the rain, speaking from experience. So here's your order then, from top to bottom. Darky by 0.6 of a second. Wow, that's impressive. Takes pole position from Deck, Jordan, Dan Wilner, Chris Johnson, Tony, Bazza in P7, Jack Craig, Scottish Goat, and Wade in P10. And we've got Patino, Jake, Ryan Berry, James, Kai, Mick, and Stereogram. So that is your order then for the season then. So there we go. That is your order. So that is going to be very, very interesting to say the least. It would help, obviously, if I had the right Stream Deck enabled, because that would have been a disaster. So there we go. We're about to get started with a 35% race around the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. First used as a testing circuit in a road circuit in 1913. And another race was held 10 years later there. Racing returned to Spain in the 1950s, and the first time on the pedal circuit. And then it was hosted at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia, and around about the 1990s. Hosted the Spanish Touring Car Championship, and it doesn't have too much history of drivers, but it's an iconic circuit for testing. And to be honest, I think the Spain race last time in real life, I felt like it was pretty good. Some people will think, oh, it's great boring, but it was all off strategy, and then it kind of ended in absolute chaos. And yeah, it was interesting to say the least in terms of that one, but I honestly think that it was because of that. Anyway, we're about to go racing then for Dive Bomb F1 round the next round for Spain, and we are underway. Darky gets a really great start off Deck off the line in towards turn 1. I think one of the McLarens have got a good start as well, so it's Ferrari and Dan trying to follow Deck through. He can't get second place, but Jordan is trying to hold on to third place from Dan. Scottish Goat up a position, up to 6th. Everyone trying to make some ground. One of the Alpines running wide. That was Scottish Go, actually. We got contact in the background. We got Kai and Stereogram having a little bit of an off, and Darky as struggling a little bit with his tyres. He hit a bit of the bollard, and so he is gone. So your order is Darky from Deck, from Jordan, from Dan, from Chris Johnson, and from Tony. So that is your order so far. Tony looking like he's looking a bit racy at the moment, but they're all looking quite close. Looks like from 14th down that they've had a bit of an issue. As we've got a battle for third place. Dan trying to sneak him around the outside, but he couldn't quite make it work. So Dan is has to stay in fourth position. This is a track which, of course, is very difficult with dirty air, which is why quite a few people went off. So if you get top 5 in qualifying, did get points. Just a reminder there as well. Darky's already pulled off 1 second from Deck. So Darky, of course, absolutely loves this track. Let's get your tyres then for the drivers. So we've got a mixture. Jordan's gone for softs. Everyone else in the top 6 have gone for mediums. Baz has gone for hards, which is a very brave strategy, but I can see why he's gone for that. Jack Craig, Ryan Berry and Waze for mediums. We've got a few soft runners in the background. Probably thinking they could climb up quite a few positions. Some people haven't lost quite a bit, actually. Waze has dropped down to 10th, so that is not ideal for him. But I think this could get interesting in terms of mistakes. I think it's all going to come down to, for quite a few drivers, damage limitation and who has got the guts just to stick it out, even if they've had a really bad race. Now, we're watching... Oh, yellow flag. Please don't tell me it's the birthday boy. No, it's not the birthday boy. It was Stereogram that's had a bit of a moment. But that's fine. He's keeping going. Checkways up the inside of the birthday boy of Ryan Berry. But Ryan Berry could fight back. But it's going to be close. Deck is winning DRS of Darky. So I think Deck is going to try and go for the move very, very soon. But Jordan is looking even closer. With him being on the soft compound tyres. Let me get telemetry on so you can see how much ERS people are running. Jordan has got quite a lot of battery still to use up here. Which means that he can really go for the overtakes, whereas Deck has got quite a lot. Darky's got quite a lot as well. So they're all pretty even in terms of ERS. So they just want to be brave in terms of use it. And sometimes it comes down to the experience you have around this track. When do you use ERS? I think it's a lot easier to use it compared to the previous games. But no one just seems to be making the move at the moment. I think, of course, with the dirty air, it's just hard to overtake without losing a bit of grip and losing a bit of downforce. I think Deck, of course, has got a lot of work to do, but I think Waze is eyeing out for his next move at the moment. Taking that inside curve very nicely indeed is Waze. But what is Waze going to do here? Using his overtake. Jack Craig's got a bit of ERS to use up as well, but I think Chris Johnson was going to look closest. Wade's going to try and go for the move. So it's Bazza as well up the inside of Tony. So there's a lot of moves going on at the same time. I was not expecting Bazza to come from that far away. So Bazza up into 6th place on those hard tyres. So the question is, when will those medium tyres start to give up the ghost? I think maybe Bazza's tyres are working wonders right now, or maybe he's just good at, on pace around here. We got our first pitter. We got Kai, who's gone on to another set of the soft compounder tyres. Now, he will have to do one stop again because he... Of course, you can't do soft because it's not going to work, for Christ's sake. Ryan Berry picking up the second penalty of the afternoon. And I think, watch out for Tony. He could get Bazza again. I think it's going to be a ding-dong battle between Bazza, Tony and Waze. Jack Craig, not that far behind. Jack Craig, I have to say, doing a lot better on this year's game compared to last game. He said this year's my game. We got a pitter from Jordan, but that was to be expected because he started on the soft compounder tyres. So, Jordan goes on to the hards, which is going to go to the end of the race. We'll see if he can do it. If he gets a safety car, he'll probably be okay, but he's going to lose track position if that's the case. So he's going to hope that the undercut is very powerful, or he's probably going to try and close up. So very interesting strategy calls here. Dex brought the gap to just under a second again. So Dex knows how to push Darky's buttons right now. And speaking of Darky, I absolutely jinxed him. Because Darky has picked himself up a 3-second time penalty. And I did say to Darky, please keep it clean earlier on, and I probably jinxed him that way. So Darky, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, please forgive me. And I don't know why I said it like that. But things happen. Things happen. As there's a yellow flag set to 2, but we'll keep an eye on that in just a moment. I think Chris Johnson looks like he's going to try and go for the move on Dan. Both late, a little bit late on the brakes, but again, I think Wade is struggling, you know. Wade is struggling because Bazza has just got past Wade. Now, I'm an idiot for missing out on moves here, so I do apologise, because obviously I'm a solo commentator, so it's hard to keep up on the moves. When Lewis is back, I'm going to be inviting him to the commentary box, so we got a duo, because he is planning to commentate for next season, season 6, so why not give him a little bit of a warm-up, because he did an incredible job filling in for me when I was away. So whenever he's back from Greece, he's going to have the pleasure of keeping me company in the commentary box. Of course, we used to be teammates for about 3-4 races before he decided to have a broken thumb. How is your thumb, by the way, Lewis? Is it getting there? Is it getting better? I hope it is. Anyway, on lap 6 of a 23, this is where we probably potentially going to start to see the pit stop. It's Chris Johnson. That was a bit of time there. Stereogram is out of the race. He has retired from the pit lane, so there will be no cause of a safety car there. Scottish Goat dives it in into the pit lane. We got a change of the leaders as we got Deck that leads from Darky in second. So maybe Darky is overcooked on his tyres and he was a little bit too aggressive on the turning. Look at that, he's already pulled a second to Darky. So Deck must be a lot smoother in terms of his driving style, which is definitely rewarding him right now. Who's gone off? That is Wade. Wade has had a bit of an off in turn 4. Luckily, he did not get beached in that gravel trap, but he's dropped down into 11th place. Not good for your championship leader. Now, lap 7 of 23. This is looking good for these lot of battles. This is the battle that we're going to keep an eye on. I'm not going to miss it this time. And I won't be surprised if Darky also challenges for the lead. So I think we're going to watch Darky first. My ulcer is really killing me. I do apologise. I am going to get some Monjela gel tomorrow in my local pharmacy. But anyway, Darky, easy move, a lot of straight line speed. He goes and takes the lead. Dan does a good job trying to cover Chris Johnson off. Almost a bit of contact. Really late on the brakes from Chris Johnson, but both of them just about keeping on the road. Jake goes into the pits. I would expect, I think maybe hards. Yeah. Jake is going on to the hard compounded tyres. So we'll see where he ends up. I have to say, the ones that are on the hard tyres are doing a decent job. So we'll see. I'm going to keep an eye on James to see if he can close up on Ryan Barry. And this will give us a true indication as to whether the mediums are really starting to go. Kai just picked himself a penalty. And what I'm finding interesting as well is people are not going for the move in towards turn 10. They used to be able to do it last game, but they're not doing it this game, which I'm honestly very, very intrigued about. Dan goes into the pit lane. Our first of our medium runners and the first of the leaders to come in. So what tyres is he going to go for? Hard. Yep, hard compounded tyres. Why did I say hard? Very weirdly, but oh my God. Dan comes out. So that will get to the end as well. Where is he going to end up in relation to his rivals? He's going to be just behind Jordan. So Jordan's undercut has worked well. Yellow flag. That's probably the AI of Stereogram, but I might be wrong there. Look at Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson's right on the back of Darky. So what's happened to Darky? Darky made a mistake. As we were looking at the pit stops, so Deck took the lead on Darky again, and Darky just lost about 3 or 4 seconds. So is Darky buckling under pressure here? We don't know. Of course, Darky's 1 lap pace is good, but Darky's race pace around Spain, he just got to manage his tyres a little bit better. And that is really helping Chris Johnson and Bazza really close in on them. Which could be impressive. If there's a safety car, this could help them. This could help them indeed. And I'm surprised Darky hasn't come in and pitted yet. Because I thought he would. He's struggling so much. Let's go on board with him. Look at that. He's sliding everywhere in turn 2 and 3. He usually takes it so much better. Of course, he's avoiding a little bit more curb compared to the last few laps. And he's struggling a little bit with turning. Oh, safety car? We got our first safety car in Dive Bomb F1. Wow. Wow. Okay. Now that has hurt Jordan, Dan and Jake because they've just pitted. Same with Scottish Go. But for everybody else, this is a game changer and they just can come in and pit. I don't know what the pit lane loss is around here. You never know. I might be wrong. And for some people who just pitted, they will probably be very happy with themselves. Mix out the race. Okay. So he's gone. Don't know what's happened to him. So that would have been 2 safety cars. That was turn 4 that he had been. Okay. So if I were the top 11, no, top 9, I would come in. The medium runners, I think it's going to be quite good. For the ones that are on hards, like Bazza and James, they got a lot of work to do, but if they stay out, then that's gonna not work wonders for them. So let's watch Jordan and Waze, Jordan, who's your net race leader, and we'll see where he comes out in relation to the likes of Deck and Darky. Jordan did think about pitting, but he's not. So where does he come out? Deck is comfortably ahead of Jordan. So your order is Deck from Darky, Chris Johnson and Bazza. So yeah, the ones we pitted early, that has not worked wonders for them at all. And for some people that were near the back anyway, they pitted for fresh tyres. So there we go. So everyone has done at least 1 stop now. Jordan's the only one that's stayed out on 6 lap old hards. I'm intrigued that Deck and Tony have gone for the soft tyres. Now, we saw how Darky was struggling on those mediums at this point. But maybe it won't be the same for Deck, because on those mediums, he was managing to make those mediums last 11 laps, so it was working wonders for him. So maybe Deck soft could work out. I don't know. We'll have to find out as we make our way through this next stage of the race now. I'm going to see if anyone has put in the driver's chat, because there might be a few people that have gone AI that were probably a bit annoyed. And Darky's saying that his car's not turning at all. Vitinho is disconnected. Right, I'm going to have to invite Vitinho to the lobby. Hang on. Thank you, Vitinho. I only just saw this message. There you are. Bettinio, you should have an invite, my friend. So there you go. And I've only just saw that, so there we go. I do apologise. Sorry if that I only just saw that, Bettinio. But you're on fresh medium for the AI, so there you go. I don't look at chat very often when I'm commentating because I am focused at what's going on. So yeah, Bettinio, if you're watching, I do apologise. So everyone should be catching up soon. We're down to 14 runners, which means everyone that's racing will score points. How will that fare later on? We'll have to wait and see. Darky, I think's safety car is not going to work because he's got penalties. Same with Ryan Berry and Waze. Everybody else should be fine. Now, I don't know why it said safety car in this lap in capitals, but there we go. So, safety car. Here is Deck. The de facto safety car. He is going to be controlling the pace then around the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya. It's going to be up to him when he puts the foot to the floor. So he doesn't want to go too early because he doesn't want to give the toe. He's going now. So Deck, for the second time tonight, we go racing. And Darky's right on the back of Deck. And could he take the lead away from Deck before it's even begun? In towards T1. Around the outside, potentially. No, they come at them off a tiny bit of contact. With no harm done, no damage. Chris Johnson having tried to have a battle with Bazza. Has Jordan trying to close in on these guys as well. Tony up to second. So Tony got a charge on those softs, but will those softs last for the entire race? Jack and Jordan coming at it, but Jordan on older tyres, it's not working out for him. He's down into 10th place. And there's a lot of squabbling happening in the background as well, as they're all trying to make moves. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And Chris Johnson struggling to close in on Darky at the moment. Scottish Goat score a penalty. And I think for them with the rolling start, it's just hard for some people to really pass around this track. So, I think we just saw someone make the move. That's James on the back of Waze. Waze could have gone for the move on the outside, but he didn't want to make a mistake there. So, we got Debt from Darky then in first and second. DRS is enabled, but obviously won't be enabled on this straight. I think we can see Dan trying to go for the move on Jack Craig. To the inside, Jack closed the door. Nicely defended from Jack Craig. And I think Jack could keep this alive if he does say so himself. But of course, Dan has used quite a bit more ERS than Jack, I think. Jack has got around about 62% in his back pocket, which is interesting. Now, everyone is bunched up again in at the top 5. I think if I was Tony, I would make the move now. Tony is a race winner. And unfortunately, he won when I wasn't here. So wouldn't it be amazing if he won when he was here? When I was here. Someone's had a bit of a moment. That's Darky. So Baz is now up to third. Chris Johnson's now up to second. Could Chris Johnson try and challenge for the win now? We'll have to wait and see, huh? So, lap 14 at 23. Now approaching lap 15. 1.5 seconds. Chris Johnson's got a lot of work to do, but Chris Johnson knows that Deck's tyres will run out ever so slightly. Here comes Badder to the inside, but Chris Johnson shuts the door. Wade's get the 3-second time penalty, and Wade tries to get past Jack Ray. Brilliant stuff. James does the same on Scottish Goat. There's a lot of moves being happening in the background. Meanwhile, while the Ferraris are struggling just a little bit, which is not ideal. Of course, they were hoping that, obviously Jake was hoping that his controller issues would be fixed, but it seems to me that he's still struggling a little bit on pace as Ryan Berry's down into 14th. Oh no, he could try and go for the send, but it's just not gonna work, unfortunately. Not gonna work. So, lap 15. I keep saying on lap 15 and 23. I don't need to say it twice. Scottish Goat and Gamer James with a little bit of wheel banging. As, James has had a bit of an off. He's gone off into 14th place. And Darky's had a bit of an off again. I wonder if Darky's had wheel issues, because I was not expecting him to be this low. I was expecting him to win this race. So, yeah, he's retired. I think he's got controller or wheel issues because, yeah, he's struggling to get the car turning. The shame for Darky. Good news if you're Dan, Deck or Wade in the championship, because Darky won't be closing up to you guys. So, we got some moves in the background as Jake's had a bit off in the background. Vitinho up the inside of Ryan Berry, up into 9th place. And I think Gamer James is going to go for the move again. Ryan Berry, 10-second penalty for corner cut and gaining 1 place. Now, that's interesting. Now, I hope it's not a weird penalty, and let's hope we could see if we can get that removed. And, of course, Kai is leaving the session because he can't do Canada. So, yeah. I wonder how many people are on warnings at the moment. We'll have to find out. James is doing quite decently trying to close onto the back of Jordan. I think Jordan just got unlucky with the safety car. If Jordan had no safety car, I think he would have won this race. Meanwhile, Badder to the inside of Chris Johnson. Badder up into 2nd place. Now, I still think Chris Johnson is going to get Badder because Chris Johnson, we know how the hard worked well with Badder earlier. And I expect to see, I think, Chris Johnson do well again. So I'm going to call it now. Chris Johnson for the win. There we go. Boom. That's my money. Chris Johnson for the win. You're going to hate me, Chris, but honestly, out of the tyres of the top 3, Chris Johnson has got the best tyres. That's what I would have gone for, and Chris Johnson has got a good shot of winning. Tony, I don't think so. Waze can still catch up, but he's got a penalty. Jack still has got a decent chance for a podium. But yeah, I'm just certain that with Chris Johnson and how he manages his tyres, I'm just almost certain that he could win this. So my money's on him. So I think if I was Chris, I would be very, very patient here. But we do have a three-way fight for the lead of this race. Deck, of course, who was fighting for the championship last season, just missed out in the penultimate round. Here comes Bazza. He's going to take the lead of this race round the outside. Bit of a cutback, but Bazza takes the lead. Deck's soft tyres must be going, because I think Chris Johnson's going to try and close in as well. Chris Johnson needs to get a move on here and get past Deck, because otherwise he's going to find it hard to try and get past Bazza. Oh, this is going to be a very good fight. Really good fight. I know Waze and Jack will be feeling a bit patient as well. Meanwhile, in the background, we've got Vitinho, who is under pressure from Dan. And we know our Dan is a great racer at the moment. He's been a bit unlucky this race, but he's going to see if he can try and fight back. Of course, the only one of the Ferraris in the top 9, which is not where Ferrari would want to be. Of course, they're trying to fight with Williams in the Constructors' Championship. We'll go through a little bit more about the Constructors very soon. That is Scottish Goat. No, that was Vitinho. Vitinho goes round the outside. Can Vitinho get into P7? No. Scottish Goat could go around the outside there. Cut back. Vitinho gets P7. There we go. I think Deck could try and get Bazza here for the lead. Round the outside. I think that's Deck. Oh, Deck's made a mistake. This could be Chris Johnson's. But Bazza saw the mistake Deck's going to try and get it back in towards turn 4 around the outside again. No. Deck's got some good pace on those softs. I think Deck could get the lead. Bazza may have the better line here. They're still going side by side. Oh my goodness, this is great. This is great racing between the both of them. I would have loved this, but these two probably would have hated it. Bazza is probably hating that Deck is on like really old softs. But Chris Johnson's probably loving this. Chris Johnson, if I was him, go for the move now, which is exactly what he's doing. And Chris Johnson, I think, trying to go for the move on Bazza here. And Bazza's having none of that. We know how Bazza likes to defend around Spain and around every track. So I'm going to lose out on my voice here because those three keep fighting so much. Tony, I think, could catch up here as well. But he'll be on softs. I doubt there will be a safety car towards the end. Meanwhile, Jordan and Jake may have a little bit of a battle soon. Jack Ray, can he close up a bit on Fatinho? No, not going to quite work, unfortunately. Let's follow the battle for the lead again, because Deck's got the lead this time. So he got the lead on Bazza a moment ago. So your order is Deck from Bazza from Chris Johnson. Oh my goodness, there was a lot of bit of move switching there. I didn't know which way these guys were going to go there. I have to say, my drive of the day is Deck, because I don't know how he's doing that on 9-lap-old softs. He is incredible. And if he can keep this up, yeah, he's going to be my drive of the day. Please don't make it 3 wide, guys. Thank God it's not going to be 3 wide. But Bazza's made a mistake. He's won a bit wide and... Oh, nope. He's got the racing line again. So Bazza stays in second. So we've got, I think, 3 more laps to go of this one. After this one, Ryan Berry picking up a penalty. I was going to go and check the warnings, but I'm not going to check the warnings here. I'm not going to check the warnings. Anyway, Bazza goes for the lead again. If I were any of the top 3, I would take... I'll be very smart and tactical when going for moves here. Make sure you do not have DRS on the final lap. Now, actually, make sure you have DRS on the final lap. Make sure you're not leading. That's what I was trying to say. And if you are leading, defend for your life, basically. There we go. So, Ryan Berry, I think, has got James. Yes, he has, up to 10th. So those memes, I think, are working not good for James, but working wonders for Ryan Berry on those hards. Scottish Goats right on the back of Fatinho. So, yeah, Fatinho's memes are gone. So I think Fatinho will still be relieved that Scottish Goat has got no penalty, got a penalty. And Wade's on the back. Yeah, Tony. Let's go on board with Tony, actually. Tony, let's see how he manages to turn 12. He's doing all right. He's catching up. He's closing up. So he could be in this as well. We could have a 4-way fight. We could have a 5-way fight on track as well. This could be intense here. This could be intense. Right. Deck, if I were you, don't go for it here. No. Deck, if I was him, I would have gone for it in the final lap. Or maybe... Because on F124, you could go for it in turn 10. But on F125, you can't do that. So... But obviously, Deck's the one in the cockpit, and I'm not. I have not done many races on this game. I've mostly done 5-lappers and time trial. So... I shouldn't be the one advising. But honestly, I think if you think Spain is boring, just watch this Dive Bomb F1 race. It's insane. Dex probably relieved that Bazza and Chris having a battle. So I think it's Dex to lose here. Dex might have made a decision that I probably thought was wrong. So yeah, I think. As long as... Oh, no, Bazza's caught up again. Oh, I literally don't know who's going to win this race. This is very exciting as a commentator. Oh, I love this. Absolutely love it. And we got not Bazza, Tony and Wade catching up as well. So, final lap of this race. Deck has got to defend for all his life here. Here comes Bazza. takes the lead, but he's got to hold on. Oh, he's made... Yeah, I think he's all right. He's got to hold on for the next lap and hope that Det makes a mistake. Chris Johnson has got to pass Det, and then the hopes that Bazza would make a mistake and Chris could win. We'll have to wait and see. In towards turn 4. Tony is made a mistake, so Wade is up to 4th. What could Jack Craig do on Scottish Goat? Yellow flag. That was Ryan Berry, I think, that's had an off. That was Ryan Berry and Gamer James, so they've had a bit of an off there, but we're going to watch this battle for the lead. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Oh no, that's it. That's it for Det. He's using a bit of his overtake, I think, but yeah, that's over. That's his mistake gone. Oh no. I was rooting for Det to win this one because he was on soft tyres, and that really costed him there. But this man has not won a race in this league for a long time. But the most experienced driver at Dive Bomb F1 is going to come across the line. He nailed the strategy, and he's won at Spain. For the first time in a long time, Det gets second. I think if Det didn't make that mistake, he would have won. And I would have given him driver of the day. But he was a close second driver of the day. Fair play. I would have dropped off if I was him. So yeah, we got Bazza from Det, from Chris Johnson, from Tony, from Patino. And Maya's got a penalty, so that means James is up to 10th. Now, Jack, if you're listening, when was Bazza's last win in this league? Because I know he's done every season, I believe. When was his last? Has he ever won in this league as well? I think he has. I might need to look at the spreadsheet. I know Jack sent a spreadsheet ages ago, but I can't find it. And Vitinho just messaged me saying he was happy with P5. I would be as well, to be fair. I would be happy with P5. And honestly, oh, that was an insane race to cover at the end. I'm definitely clipping that on TikTok. So, here we go then. So, driver of the day belongs to Vitinho because he don't forget he disconnected as well. So, good comeback from him. Oh no, I'm torn between Vitinho and Bazza now because Vitinho did well to climb back where he was. But you got to feel for Chris Johnson. I think it was Chris Johnson's to lose. He was on the better tyre. He was on the hards that could last a bit longer. He just crumbled, unfortunately, which I'm honestly gutted for him because he could have been on for the win as well. So, your order then for race 1, Bazza from Det, from Chris, Tony, Vitinho, Waze, Jack Craig, Dan, Scottish Goat, James. So we got Jordan, Ryan Berry, Jake, what could have been for him, and your DNFs are Darky, Mick, Kai, and Stereogram. So that is your order then. I've got a pick driver of the day for Spain. I'm torn between Bazza, Deck, and Vitinho because all three of them drove well. Chris Johnson also drove well too. So I'm just torn between the both of them. Why is it not letting me switch scenes? There we go. I managed to switch scenes somehow, but there we go. It took me a while, but honestly, this is a hard decision picking driver of the day, but if I was to pick a driver of the day, oh, I don't know, for Spain, it's so hard between those three. But you know what? Because of the strategy, I'm going to go with Bazza because, honestly, in my opinion, I didn't think the hards were the right tyre to start with, but he just seemed to me that everyone else on the mediums at the start of the race just struggled. Like when he was like, look like the ones near Bazza, that is. The ones that were at the front were fine, apart from Darky, of course. Deck was obviously controlling it there, but everyone else who was near Bazza that was on the mediums or softs, and Bazza was able to overtake them. And then he stayed out, gambled for a safety car. I remember in one of the races that I missed, he tried to do exactly the same and he had no safety car. So I think it's kind of like redemption that he got a safety car and that's definitely helped. So yeah, my drive of the day for Spain goes to him. But I've got to give commiserations to Jordan because without that safety car, I think Jordan could have won that race. Chris Johnson, I think it was very unlucky. Det, without that mistake, I think I would have given Det driver of the day if he just kept for the win. So there we go. But we are going to be racing around Canada now. Now, Canada is a track where it has a special place in my heart because I had done pretty much in most league races over the last year or two. I've done very well around Canada. This is where I got a league racing win at TGP, and that was what helped me get into the championship fight. So that is going to be a really interesting race to cover. Of course, no safety cars in this one. And it will be a 25% race, one-shot qualifying, which means qualifying is going to be even more crucial. So we're having a 2-minute break, and hopefully we'll get the call from Mr. Jack Craig to go. So we will get going soon. And just a reminder, after this race in about half an hour, I will be in a call with the team bosses, and we'll be going through how teams are selected for next season. I might let Jack do most of the talking, to be honest, when we get to that point, because he's organised it. So Jack, if you're watching, I may be asking you more questions than usual, so soz. But yeah, because and then I'll be asking some questions to the team bosses on what they're looking for the teams, and could they give some hints on who if they had any talks with someone potentially, and are they close to getting that person into that team? We will see. We will see. When it actually goes for me, I'm not giving any hints. So if someone asks for any hints on mine, I'm not going to give any hints. But there we go. So yes, that will all be revealed in about half an hour's time, and we will be getting the team bosses in half an hour too. So some of them you'll hear for the first time on the channel. So there we go. I'm just looking at the chat to see everyone's reaction. And Basil was saying that it was a good battle between himself and it was. Oh my goodness, I enjoyed that. That was fun. I'm gonna put it in chat actually. You probably can hear me typing, so I do apologise. And because of that battle, I almost lost my voice. So, yeah. I think they're going to be happy to watch us out back, actually. Are we good to go? Yes, we are. We are good to go. We're about to go racing for the Canadian Grand Prix, which, honestly, like I was saying, I'm excited about. So we'll get the track for you. So, first Grand Prix was held back in 1978. Number of laps will be, I'm trying to do the map here, about 18 laps, I think, 17, 18 laps. And there are, I'm just trying to look at DRS. There's 3 DRS zones and 2 DRS detection points, because, of course, coming up to the turn 12 and into final corner, the DRS detection zone 2 between 8 and 9 is the detection point for that. So there's a double dose of DRS, basically. And it was obviously named after Gilles Villeneuve. It had a rich tradition in Canada for Formula 1 circuit, stretching back to 1967. For the first 10 years, the race was held at Mosport Park, which I think I remember commentating a race there on iRacing when I used to commentate on iRacing. And honestly, I didn't have time to commentate on iRacing, but honestly, Mosport was a lot of fun. There was Mont Tremblant in Quebec. There was a Notre Dame circuit, it used to be called as well. And then, of course, when Gilles Villeneuve died, they called it Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And the island in which the circuit is located also hosted the World Expo. Oh my God. We are going to be for an absolute... And why is my stream deck not working? Why is my stream deck not working? Very annoying, but there we go. We have got rain, ladies and gentlemen. Rain in Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Oh my God, this is going to be intense for all of our drives. I'm trying to connect my stream deck again, which is not working. There we go. I think I got it working. But it is not chugging it down as it will like, but it's going to make qualifying even harder. Let's go on board with... Let's go on board with Jordan. Where are you, Jordan? Oh, he might have invalidated. Never mind. We'll go on board with Vitinho as he makes his way towards turn 3. Obviously hard on those indies. You got to brake early just about now. Don't clip that curb too much because it will be prone to invalidation. But you can see that he's struggling a little bit to get those tyres up to temperature. Purple set to 1, but Darky is just about ahead. The car seems to be sliding all over the place. I think he's lost quite a bit of time there as he makes his way now towards turn 8. Fourth or third gear on entry he goes. Don't click that curb, Vitinho. Don't invalidate. And he's invalidated. Never mind. Let's go on board with his teammate Waze, who was fighting with Darky in the last few races in Spain. No, not Spain. Monaco and Imola last week. So Waze goes through the... past the hairpin. He takes that quite nicely, actually. It's going to be quite close between Darky and Waze. Deck as well, not that far behind. So Waze, he's going to see if he could try and get close to Darky's time. Final corner, Wall of Champions. That's where we've seen quite a few people invalidate. No such qualms for Waze and Darky as they go up to the line. Darky with a 120.9. Waze not that far behind. And our race winner from last time out, Bazza, has been disqualified. But to be honest, it's hard to really set a lap time around it. So that is to be... there we go. We will go for your order then. So we've got Darky from Waze, Jordan and Deck, Dan, Scottish Goat, Chris Johnson, Tony, Ryan Berry, Jack, Mick, Bazza, Jake, James, and Vitinho. So that is your order. Sorry, I was just messaging a chat. Folks. We may have extra plans here. So, it's a nice and sunny day, of course, in Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And for the drivers, they're going to hope it stays that way. Last race that I remember, that was a very good race around it. In 2011, it was like a 4 to 6 hour race. Jenson Button, I remember, had a drive-through penalty or something, and he still went on the race. Last year's race was pretty intense with the wet weather, where we saw the gamble strategy of Kevin Manderson and Hulkenberg were the only two drivers having to go on a different tyre compared to everybody else, and it worked wonders for a little bit, but then it didn't when the track got drier or something like that. So that I think that just got very, very intense. But a lot of real life battles happen here, and just like obviously TGP last season, the race win could come down to penalties. So if you want to win this race, do not get penalties. If you want to win this race or even get a good result, do not get penalties. Right then, without further ado, we are about to go racing for the second time tonight. Darky versus Waze on the front row is a go, and it's quite an even getaway in towards turn 1, and there's quite a bit of quite a bit of decent going on here. A lot of ghosting. Yeah, this is very hard to watch. They're all ghosted with each other. Yeah, everyone's desynced. I can't... right, I'm putting it in the chat. This is very odd. Oh, I'm just hoping that the timings fix itself soon, please. I think it... And there's blue flags somehow as well. That's odd. I'm just gonna be in the chat because it might just be me. It might just be like spectator glitch or whatever. But the first few laps were just the first few corners were just a bit unbearable to watch there. But I think it sorted itself out. So that's all good. So, but Darky's pulled a bit of a gap because of it. So he took an advantage of that. But there was quite a few people that were just like ghosts of each other. Scottish go... Sorry, I should have got a drink before, in between races. But Scottish Goat moves up to third, Det fourth, Dan fifth, Chris Johnson in sixth. Let's get tyres actually. So tyres, sauce for Dan and Waze, mediums for the top 8 apart from them. Ryan Berry, James and Jake on hards, everyone else on medium. So there we go. That is your order. And I'm going to get the telemetry up. There we go. I'm going to get the telemetry up. So, Darky, I feel like, has the edge at the moment due to the fact he took advantage of a very good start. And I just don't know what happened at the start of the race to tell that, like, who had the edge there, because it looked very, very weird. It might just be decent my side, but it was like, it seemed to me like Deck was leading, but it showed Deck in 5th on the road. It was weird. Meanwhile, Dan's had a little bit of an off with Deck. No, don't make it 3 wide. These guys are going to make it 3 wide into this straight here. It's going to be very risky. Someone's got to back off, please. As Dan's not going to give up without a fight. Dan's got to move down near the wall of champions. And he do not want to hit the wall of champions, let's just say that. But Dan is up into 5th place at the moment. So a lot of moves being made there. We've got the 2 Hasses of Tony and Jordan fighting for their life as well. Ryan Berry doing well on those hards as well. And I think it's always nice to see underdogs do well. And this one is Scottish Go. I have been very impressed, but he's got some very quick drivers behind him. And it's a very hard track to overtake on this game on F1 25. So what he's got to do is try and make sure he holds his own here. The thing that I'm going to critique him a little bit, he's used too much ERS, whereas Deck has got like 38 and Dan's got 76. So when they try and go for moves, they're going to have loads, whereas Scottish Go has less to worry about here. So this is going to be interesting to see how Scottish Goat likes to play this. And even that Deck has a DRS, Scottish Goat just can't get past. And Scottish Goat just picked himself a penalty as well. So every time I talk about good on him, it just didn't work. So, didn't work at all that. As Deck up to chasing him down. As we got Tony that's trying to go for a lunge then. That almost was a bit of a dive bomb, but they just about made it work. Chris Johnson picked up a penalty now. There are more penalties being flown through here in the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Yellow flag, that was Vitinho. Vitinho's out of this race. Of course, no safety cars in this race. So a lot of work to do there for the ones who are a little bit too further back. But Vitinho and Mick, their races are over for the rest of the night. Unfortunate, but they could have scored quite a few points here. But where will be. Dan, I think, could try and get Deck here. He's got much better traction, much better straight line speed as well. He had to back off because he could see Deck was trying to go for the move on Scottish Go. And Scottish Go did a great job to try and defend that. But Deck just had much better pace on Scottish Go. Meanwhile, Tony trying to take advantage of Dan's softer, almost dying, but can't quite work out. I think Tony has played a very great strategy here. Jack Craig has got a time penalty to his name, which is not what he wanted to see in Dive Bomb F1. You can see Dan is using quite a bit of hot lap to get around this lap, and he's going to try and burn a bit of ERS now. But my debating on this game is which is quicker, hot lap or medium. I don't know. You can see Deck was using none on the exit turn 8 there, which meant he recharged a little bit more battery there. So this could work good for Deck in that way. And good job on Scottish Goat for trying to make the move work there. And all this battle is allowing sorry, Darky, is allowing Darky and Waze to really close in now. And Jake, on the other hand, gets past Jack Craig up into 11th as Ryan Berry up into 10th. Well, he was up to 10th, but he has to come into the pit lane. So we are seeing some early pit stops. So Ryan Berry opts. Ryan Berry opts for the medium compounder tyres. So we'll see if that strategy works well for him. And apologies if you heard my chair just go. So I'm taking a few more breaks than usual due to the annoying ulcer on my jaw, which absolutely hurts. But usually ulcers ease off anyway. But I've had a bit of stress last week, which was why I probably had it. Jordan, by the way, and Bazza are having a ding-dong battle here. What we like to see. And, of course, Bazza usually likes to keep it clean on penalties. Has done well before. I think he got a podium there last season in TGP. I might be wrong. I need to get my stats up, but I don't have my stats with me. We're almost halfway into this race. Det does get past Scottish Go. Jack Craig's out of the race. Jack is out of the race. He retired. I think he must have retired in the World Champions, or he might have just retired in the pits. I'm not entirely sure, but that's him done. So we're now down to 12 drivers. And I wonder if something was happening to his controller. I just don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. So, Deck has got Scottish Go up the inside. Doesn't quite work. But Deck and Scottish Goat's catching up to Waze. And that's because Waze started on the soft compounded tyre. And because Waze started on the soft compounded tyre, we know how softs go on F1 25. They last less time. They wear out so quickly in 25% races. So we know it is going to, like, drop off an edge of a cliff here. So if I was Waze, I would pit now. And, oh, no, Waze! Waze has got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Ah, frustrating. Absolutely frustrating there. He must be absolutely gutted, because that will cost him last time for the win in Monaco. Oh. Of course, there's no safety car, so he doesn't have to pit again unless he gets damage. More penalties. James with a penalty. I think it's not going to be the last time that I see penalty. And if people can stay in this train, they will be rewarded at the moment. Darky, I have to say, is doing a lot better. He's being a lot smoother. He's chosen the right strategy, and he seems to be a lot better. I've just seen the chat, by the way. I don't know why I've checked. So the win that Bazza got in Spain, he's never won. It's his 54th race. And for the first time in 54 races, he's won a deep dive bomb F1 race. It's his first dive bomb F1 race win. Amazing. Thank you, Jack. I don't know what you mean, Jordan, when I saw in the chat. Was it Spain or Canada? I'll need to check that. But anyway, lap 9 of 18. We're going to keep an eye on this fight then, and me not look at the chat, because it could be a bit distracting at times sometimes. So, interesting. So I think Chris Johnson's going to try and redeem himself here. This is a battle that we've seen before. These four people have battled before. This is, honestly, I mean, this is like redemption. This is what we saw last time, but different orders. This is exciting. They can't afford to get any penalties, though, because it could cost them. As we got Chris Johnson up the inside of Deck. And I think Chris Johnson's got this in the bag, because Chris Johnson had the DRS. Tony Park could have taken advantage there. But he's not going to, so... Any of those guys who got penalties have got to try and stay clear of the ones without penalties. As we got Bazza side by side with Tony. He's going to be free wide in towards turn one. Bazza's going to try and do the double overtake. There was a bit of contact. But I think Bazza's made it work. Oh, that was so tight between these guys. But luckily, I think they kept it on the road. Someone may argue that people might have lost time through that. But Bazza pretty much made a double overtake work. He's up to 4, but he's lost 4 attempts on Chris Johnson. He's got to get a move on now if he wants to close up to Chris Johnson. Deck has now, I think, got Jordan and closing him in now. So yeah, Bazza and Deck lost time due to them two fighting. And Chris Johnson was like, I'll have that. Thank you very much. I will love that. So yeah. So I think it'll be very soon. It'll be pit stops. Darky's got a 10-second penalty. It won't be the first one. Right, please slow down. Slow down when you go in the pit lane. Whatever you do. And Deck, please slow down. There we go. Tony's got a 10-second penalty. Tony, right? Do not get penalties, guys. In the pit lane, because we could have a change of leaders here if we're not careful. So there'll be some people that will be going for softs now. Darky's one of them. He's got to try and clear everybody now. He can't afford to be stuck behind loads of cars, because otherwise it's going to be an absolute disaster for him with his 10 seconds. Dan's got a penalty as well, so that's not ideal. That is not. And then Tony has just got one as well. Things are shaking up here. Really shaking up. The Scottish Goat is leading. Your net race leader is Darky with Wade in second. Dan in third. Ryan Berry fourth. Deck fifth. But he's 6 seconds down the road. I think Ryan Berry's pulled a blinder here of a strategy. Ryan Berry could be driver of the day, you know. He's got 9 penalties. He could win this race. But it depends if any drivers have got more penalties. Who's just come in? It was a McLaren. Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson comes in. No one else does out of the leading bunch. They haven't pitted yet. So here he goes. Pass through onto soft then. And those people who just pitted can't be afforded to be stuck. And Badder just got a 10-second penalty for getting one place corner cutting. Pretty much everybody's got a penalty now, unless you're Ryan Berry or whatever, Deck. So the 2 Aston Martins, they could do well here. Calling it now. So, Darky's back in the lead. Quite a few people making mistakes here. But I think it just shows that it happens to me in Canada. You lose the rears so much on this game around it. It's just crazy. Absolute crazy. And it's going to be struggling to keep your tyres under temperature as well, because your tyres are going to be overheating. There was a few, I think, complaints that I think some of the engine was going to overheat as well. It was just, yeah. I think this is going to be interesting here. The ones that are going to do well are the ones without penalties, which is only like 2 drivers. So I think with... So Wade has only got a 3 seconds, right? Let me have a look. Oh, no, never mind. He's got 13 seconds. So, yeah, he's got 13 seconds there. So, yeah, that's not going to work out. So, as everyone has foxed, here is your results so far. So we've got Darky from Waze, from Dan from Ryan Berry, for Chris Johnson from Deck. Now, Ryan Berry, if he keeps up with Dan and Waze, he could be on the podium. Again, like he did in Monaco, and that will just be insane for him, but keeping it clean. On his birthday, honestly, if he gets a podium on his birthday, he's going to be loving life, and it'll be like a birthday present. That's all. No, Deck! Oh! Deck's had a bit of a moment, unfortunately. Deck's got a lot of work to do here, as Darky set the fastest lap of the race. He's got to pull 10 seconds over Waze now. Not Waze. Dan. Yeah, he's got to pull... No, 7 seconds. Yeah, he's fine. So I think Darky's got this one in the bag, as long as he just could keep maintaining the pace. So maybe that 10-second penalty is all right. And he was obviously very lucky when he got that. Tony's got a 3-second penalty as well. I think it's just a thing with penalties. It's just a thing with penalties. Right, let's watch the battles from the midfield then, as we keep an eye on Tony and Jake for P8, as we try and close in and see what happens. As you can probably tell, yeah, my ulcer is hurting so bad. I was going to get the team owners here on like a call, but I might just not do that, mainly because I could just explain it after this and then then go afterwards. Jordan, 3-second time penalty. As Tony trying to get the move on deck, then is it going to work? Jake just got a 3-second. I think that's moving up to 6 seconds now. Yes, it is. Let's get your penalty status then so far. So there it is. There is your penalties. Wait, hold on. How is Tony on 22 seconds of penalties? That is a lot. Tony, get a life, please. Then we got Waze on 13. Darky on 10. Yeah, I think Ryan Berry's still on for this podium here. I think he won't get second, but I think he'll get third, if I'm not too mistaken. Here comes Jake on Tony. Jake's gonna probably get him on penalties anyway, but there's no harm done in him trying to go for the move. So he could try at least, but you can see Tony has burned quite a bit of ERS there. So not ideal for him. He's just got to try and save a little bit. So we will see. I think there's just mainly moves on the back straight. That's it. There's just not many moves towards the end of this one. But that's fine. We could get... What have I done? Oh, there we go. We could get a move from Dan as he tries to close in on Waze. Dan and Waze, of course, contenders in the title. Has... let me have a look. Has... Has the standings been updated? No, I don't want an add-on King Shot. I do not want to add on that. Go away. But we are going to see Dan trying to go for the move on Waze. Can't quite do it. I see a similar colour to what I run on the helmet, which I think is pretty cool. That looks lovely. Or it might just be that everyone has that helmet that I've designed because Spectator being Spectator. So... Right, has it been updated? Let me have a look. Nope, Spade and Canada have not been updated in the standings yet. So, there we go. So, it's not been updated. So, yeah. 3-second time penalty for Tony. Multiple warnings. 25 seconds. Scottish Goat's on 6 seconds now. Dan's on 3 seconds now. So he's on 6. Yeah, Ryan Berry's got the podium. He's got second, I think. He's got second in the race. If he can keep it clean, Ryan Berry, whatever you do not get penalties. Because Chris Johnson can try and close up, but as long as he doesn't lose time, Chris Johnson has got... No, Ryan Berry's got second. So there we go. On his birthday as well. That would be insane. Right, we are started the final lap of this race. And I have to say, Darky has driven a stellar race. I said to him, because I was having a fight with him in Canada last season in TGP2, that the only reason why he didn't win that race, he binned it. Oh, no! You joking me? That was the biggest jinx. No, Darky. That was the biggest jinx ever. And he's lost a win. He had the win in the bag. Oh, he's cutting it on purpose. He doesn't care. Darky, Darky, Darky. I think Darky was struggling for grip as well. Right, that was an example where it's not over until the fat lady sings, ladies and gentlemen. But we could see a new race winner here, but we're going to cross that bridge when we get to it. Darky comes across the line as Dan and Wade having a bit of a battle there as Darky's out of the race. Daniel's binned it, but we have got the birthday man who's going to come across the line and he's going to win his first race in Dive Bomb F1. We've had 2 major winners in one night. What a crazy end to that race. We thought that Spain was crazy enough, but no. 2 major race winners in one night. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Chris in second. I swear, Chris always the bridesmaid, never the bride, eh? If he didn't get that penalty, Chris would have won. But Ryan Berry, on his birthday, has won a race in Dive Bomb F1. I'm looking at the chat now. Right. I was thinking about it, but I wasn't going to say it until it come across. It was going to be Darky Driver today, but Ryan Berry just kept it clean. No penalties, no mistakes. Good strategy. And I have to say, yes. So, yeah, my driver of the day for Canada goes to Ryan Berry. He has to. Happy birthday, Ryan Berry. You have won a race. And I have to say, that is insane. And we got a double Aston Martin podium as well. I think Aston Martin will take that. That will help him in the constructors. This order I was not expecting going into this. But yes, Ryan Berry from Chris Johnson, Deck, Waze, Scottish Goat, Jake, James, Bazza, Jordan, Tony, Darky and Dan are still classified, but that's going to hurt him in the championship. Would that put Waze in your championship? Would it be Waze or Deck that will be your championship leader? It might be Waze, but I'll let Jack do the maths. But that is your order then for this. And I'm just hoping that the stream deck works. There we go. It was all worked and it's all good. So it's all good there. So I was going to get the team bosses with me, but my ulcer is absolutely hurting me right now. So we're going to go through it quickly. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and get everybody that's a driver to watch the stream, because I'm not going to blabble on about this until everyone's watched the stream. So please get everybody to watch the stream, please. That'll be lovely, because I don't want to repeat myself every 5 seconds. So please do. That will be amazing. And of course, if you have any questions after I've gone through everything, please speak to Jack Craig, because he's the main organizer out of all of this. So let's actually go for your championship leaders actually at the moment, whilst we get everyone tuned in. Right, so Check Ways, 148 points. You're your championship leader. Deck moves to second. When have we seen that before? Incredible. Dan in third, Chris in fourth, Tony then Darky in sixth. Then we got Baz has moved up to ninth. He's gained 3 places. Jack's in 10th. You got to feel for Darky. I feel so bad. The worst jinx in the world. But there we go. Right, I'm going to... I need to try and share the stream. I need to find the link. There we go. Finding the link. You could tell that the stream has been a bit, like, crazy for me tonight. But yeah. There we go. So, I'm going to put the link up on there. Once we get, like, everybody that's raced tonight watching the stream, and then we could get going. 15.1 is good in Spain. I have no idea, my friend. I have no idea. So there we go. I don't know if a 15.1 is good in Spain. I'm talking bonkers, but I don't care. I think for me to stop talking bonkers, what I might do is I might just I might post a video or something and then go for it. So basically, for season 6, there are 5 team bosses for academies. Now I might have to repeat this again because people may not read, but yeah, there are 5 team bosses for academies. So you got myself covering Red Bull and V-Carb. I need to get it up on the I can't remember who's got what team. I'm an idiot. I'm trying to remember. Darky's got the Ferrari Academy. Det has got Mercedes Academy, which has Mercedes and Aston Martin. Craig has got the Audi Academy, that's got Sauber and Williams. And Jake's got the Renault Academy, which has got Alpine and McLaren. So there we go. So each driver, you will see this on Discord. So make sure you join up on our Discord server. Jack will post it in the chat in a minute. But each driver will have values based on past performances in Dive Bomb F1 and TGB2 and other leagues. So you can see how much it's worth. So it goes all the way from 1 million all the way to 5 million. So obviously the lower pace that you've got, the less that you're worth, basically. So yes, if you want to impress, of course, you get higher values. So each driver is assigned a value. Jack will be putting it in the Dive Bomb F1 chat at some point, but this just give you a sneak preview of what it is, but you can already find this on Discord anyway. And the reason why these values become significant is because each team boss, you can see here, you can see the academies as well, Ferrari and Haas, there we go. Each team has a maximum cost cap to sign drivers. So for example, Williams, you can't sign drivers no more than £6 million in total. So if you go for someone that's worth 4 million, then 5 million, that's over the cost cap and you can't do that. So what the team bosses will be doing is, if they haven't already, they would be approaching all the drivers that have signed up already to Dive Bomb F1. And if you haven't already, sign up for season 6. That will be amazing. So there we go. But yes, so make sure you look at your value and see, would it be worth approaching the team boss for that team? If you're too much, I'm sorry, that can't be helped. But so either the team boss will approach you, or if you want to be a part of that team, you can approach that team boss. It's obviously hard to tell if you approach them or not, if the team boss has already approached them or get a contract and stuff. We'll have to wait and see on that one. So, and then what happens, let me get the, I should have had this prepared earlier, but I forgot. I'm absolutely talking bonkers here, but I don't care. So let me remove that. So you got the team values. No, I don't want image. Go away. I want window capture, Discord. There we go. So then what the team bosses will be doing a contract once it's agreed with the driver. So once the team bosses approach the driver or and the driver's okay with it, or if a driver approaches a team boss and a team boss is happy with it, then what the team boss will do is put those details in the chat. So they will put the academy, and they'll put the EID, the team, and their Twitter handle, and they'll put how much money it is worth, basically. And basically, if you agree to a contract already, then you would put a tick next to that name, and then that contract is signed. You'll be signed for that team for season 6. And all season 6 contract expires 7 days after the season finale. And signing a signed driver takes £500 out of next year's season's budget. And then if you make a mid-season swap, it costs $200,000, for example. And the team bosses are also keeping an eye on if any driver DNFs as well, because it loses $100,000 of the next season's budgets too, which is not ideal. So yeah, this is what they'll be doing and all that stuff. And so pretty much all of the team bosses have a It would have if I got the screen up, wouldn't it? Oh my God, I am an idiot. I do apologize. Right, let me go through that again. So basically, the team owner would once a contract is agreed by the driver and the owner, the owner would put it in there, like in this format, with the required information. And once the driver if the driver is happy with it, then they put a tick next to their name. So there we go. You can see that now. I'm an idiot for not showing that screen. It is annoying, but there we go. So not everyone watched the stream, so it's going to be absolute bonkers. So I do believe I'll need to double check. I think it's okay for the team bosses to get contracts signed now. Let me just check. So I think it's okay, but I will be checking. So if you got a contract agreed already for this season, then make sure you check the Discord and tick when you see it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Sorry the last bit of the stream is a bit of gobbledygook, but thanks for watching. We'll see you next week for another 2 rounds. It's been a crazy stream. I'm going to go now before I absolutely cry because my ulcer hurting. Anyway, take care. Bye-bye.